Sole proprietor, limited liability company, C Corp, S Corp, LLC, partnership. Who cares and does it matter? Yes, it matters. And you should care, and you should care a lot. Welcome to video 3 in our series on how to successfully start a security guard company. In this video, we'll be talking about how to go about choosing a company type for your new security guard company. But before we get started, here is my legal disclaimer. I am not an attorney. Please contact the appropriate legal counsel for specific legal advice. All right, now that we've gotten that out the way, let's talk about why you need to form a corporation. The main reason that you want to form a corporation is to limit your personal liability and protect your personal assets. If you choose not to form a corporation, then you and your partners become personally liable for anything that happens to the company. If you owe a vendor and they sue the company, they're suing you personally. If someone gets hurt at a site that you're providing security for and they sue your company, they're suing you personally. There are some industries where you can absolutely get away with having a sole proprietorship or partnership. The security industry is not one of them. Lawsuits in the security industry can be millions of dollars, and unless you're Bill Gates or Jeff Bezos, you probably can't afford that. So it always perplexes me when I see law enforcement officers or security professionals providing security on the side. Because if something happens, you will be sued personally. Even if you are an active duty law enforcement officer, chances are high that you may not be covered under the code of color for your agency. I've seen some Leos get thrown under the bus by the departments, so make sure you're following department rules. So why is it different with corporations? That's because corporations are treated like they're almost people. So the corporation itself can be sued without affecting the shareholders, which would be you. So as long as you aren't breaking the law, doing something negligent, or signing a debt personally, you can't be touched. There are really 3 types of entities that you should be looking at: C corporations, S corporations, and limited liability companies. To me, the choice between the 3 comes down to just a couple of points. The first is taxation. As a C corporation, the corporation is taxed twice. Once as a separate legal entity, then the shareholders must file their cut of the profits on their personal tax returns. For both the S corporations and LLCs, taxes are only assessed once against the owners of the company. Second is the complexity of maintaining the entity. There are a lot of really formal rules that you have to follow when you elect to start a corporation. There are very specific ways that you have to have meetings, who has to be at the meetings, the way that the notes for the meetings are taken, etc. All of which you have to follow, otherwise if you are sued, the plaintiff could possibly pierce the corporate veil. Pierce the corporate veil. That's such a legal term. Hey Joe. This is Courtney Sparkman over at Sparkman & Associates, and I refuse to let the corporate veil be pierced. Essentially, what that means is that because you don't follow the rules to a T, then your company is not really a corporation, so the person suing you can go after you personally. You don't want that. But with an LLC, the rules are not nearly as stringent, which makes maintaining the corporate veil a little easier. There are a bunch of pros and cons to whatever entity that you choose, so please talk to your attorney and accountant to help make that decision. We'll actually talk about a couple of budget-friendly resources that you'll find useful for getting your legal and accounting questions answered in another video in this series. If you are thinking about starting a security guard company and you find this type of information helpful, then please subscribe and click the notification bell to make sure that you are always alerted as we introduce new videos in the series. Lastly, if you have questions or comments, please leave them below because I try to respond to all comments and questions that I get. On to the next video.